everyone, to another episode of the MissJudged podcast. If you're not already following us, MISS Judged podcast, all one word. Give us a like, give us a follow, tell your mom. I'm
Tell your mom.
Yeah, tell your mom. Everyone can listen. I'm Teresa.
I'm Alyssa.
And today we have Jen.
Dr. Jen.
Dr. Jen, I'm so sorry.
Dr. Jen. Jen,
Hi.
thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Why don't you just tell us your little bio real quick?
Okay.
And then we'll kind of get into this day's episode because we're going to be talking about being a boss as a woman. So, of course, we had to have you come on.
Yeah. This will be a fun topic.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not often where we sit down and have a one-on-one.
Yeah.
Girls, you're all like, let's talk about being a boss. But
I know.
so I am an optometrist. I am the founder of Line of Sight in Hudson Yards. And my second location is inside the Equinox Hotel.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Such a baddie.
Thank you. So we specialize in eye care. We have eyewear. We also do a lot of eye and skin aesthetic treatments. I also am a more or less like full-time content creator. I started doing that first before becoming an optometrist. I speak for companies and I'm a medical advisor. And I'm creating a new eyelid hygiene product that's coming out in 2025.
Okay.
So,
well, we said boss babe over here.
I always wonder how people like literally sleep when they do so much, honestly. Because like I'm unwell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I don't know how you are, but I'm only doing two things.
Well, I think the more I do, the better I sleep because then I'm just so exhausted by the end of the day. I pass out. Like
so funny.
sleeping issues at all. It's amazing.
You're just like, when your head hits the pillow, you're like,
just
this
pass
is
out.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that, actually. I wish.
Yeah. So what you're saying to the listeners is the more you do, the better you'll sleep. So to quote Kim Kardashian,
number one.
Get off your fucking ass and work.
Yeah, exactly. Doctor's orders.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel like because you and me have both like started companies, you know, like I kind of want to hear about your journey because like, and then I can kind of share mine because it's probably very different.
Yeah.
So like, how did yours start?
With school or with like when I opened?
With school. Like take us through school.
Oh my
and like how many years of school?
Share
How many,
when?
No. How many years of school?
School. I mean, it was like basically 8 to 10 years of schooling. But I decided to become an optometrist when I was actually in college. I wanted to be in healthcare. I wanted to help others, but I just wasn't sure exactly what that meant and what that looked like. So I shadowed a bunch of different specialties in a hospital setting. I definitely fainted a few times when I saw blood. So I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
So what else could I do that would actually be something in healthcare that I could actually help people where I actually enjoy my lifestyle, what I do, I can open a business and relates to fashion. So I actually ended up going in for an eye exam once just for a screening. And they're like, hey, it looks like you have a retinal tear in the back of your eyes, which can actually lead to blindness if not caught in time. And that really just really opened the doors for me, like how important vision is for everybody.
Yeah.
And how much of a difference that makes. You know, you wake up and you first thing you do is just you see.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing you use before you go to bed. So the optometrist was just so compassionate when she sort of took care of me the entirety of the time that I felt like it embodied the profession that I wanted to be in.
I love that.
And so fast forward, after graduating, I moved to New York. I worked at I swear like maybe 20 different practices my first couple of years. I think I had like 3 different jobs, work 7 days a week just to find the right like type of practice that I wanted to build and sort of get my foot in the door. And then I eventually opened up my own practice. Part of that was because when I worked at Mount Sinai Eye Near, when I first graduated, I was like, this is great hospital setting, but I just felt like a lot of the care was focused on the problem after it occurred. It was like putting a Band-Aid on it when it was a little too late.
True.
And I wanted to find a preventative way to really help patients with eyesight and eye care. And I knew that was available. And so in order to do that, I was like, I just need to probably open up my own practice. And it was a scary thing to do. In 2019, found, at that time, Hudson Yards was still not fully built.
Yeah. And it's still not there,
it's
to be very honest.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
Where you are is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the other areas.
Yeah. But it's expanded quite a bit.
Yeah.
So like you have like a lot of the Fortune 500 companies that have moved in, Peloton, you have Equinox Hotel there, Whole Foods. Mm-hmm. I felt like it was the right, just area to promote like preventative wellness and eye care and longevity. So I was excited to find a place. We signed the lease, and January 2020, it was time to go build the practice, right?
Oh my God.
Brand new space.
Were
Insane.
Were you crying?
It was like, well, I don't really react with emotions heavily, but I was just like, okay.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Well, what do I do? March, I was like, okay, fine. All right. So at least we can build it out, right? They're like, okay, no, you can't have even construction workers in there. And then in June, it's like, well, everyone can sort of kind of resume-ish back to work with masks on, but all the manufacturing and all of our like flooring and everything, marble, like tabletops, it all got delayed.
Yeah.
So we really didn't finish until maybe like closer to the end of 2020. So a whole year of not being able to see patients, this big cost that we, just put into this place. And it was really scary. It was like probably one of the biggest decisions I've ever made. And I was like, was this the right choice?
Right.
No, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Especially given the circumstances of COVID, I'm sure you were like, why did I do that?
Yeah. I mean, that definitely ran through I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah. Locked into like,
exactly.
Yeah. That's so fucking scary in New York City.
Yeah. It was my first time building a brick-and-mortar business. Yeah. And plus like living in New York, it was like just crazy at that time. So, but I, pivoted a little bit. I had to think of a way to survive. And so, and see my patients. So I started doing virtual exams to sort of help. Eventually we were able to like open the doors like closer to the end of like December. And, it's been such a whirlwind, but such a great experience. It's been 4 years, I guess closer to 5 soon.
Yeah.
But I've learned a lot of lessons and built the confidence to know that this was the right move. But it was definitely a scary part of the journey.
Well, was that when you also started doing like social media? Because I saw you doing videos about eye health and stuff. So 2020?
No. So I started my social media like right before I graduated optometry school.
Oh, wow.
As a travel blogger.
Oh,
so
cool.
I was like, I love traveling, and I just worked with like a lot of travel agencies, hotel brands. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Incognito, no one needs to know that I practice. And at that time, I mean, it's still the case for health professionals. Like as a female, we're on the topic. So as a female healthcare professional, it's like, people judge you.
Of course.
On social media.
They just judge women
differently.
Like, are you sure you're old enough to be here, honey?
Yeah, that was
literally.
Exactly. Or, how are you actually working? It seems like you're sponsored and like crazy things like that.
Oh my God. The way that sponsor term literally kills me. I've heard that before too.
I know. Yeah. I'm sponsored.
Like, who's the sponsor?
Thank you.
Tag your sponsor. You know who you are.
I do have a question though. As a woman trying to build your own business and then COVID and it's sort of pushing back your plans, what kind of support system did you have to get you through those moments?
I feel, relatively confident in terms of like my close circle of friends and mentors and friends and family and loved ones that I could lean on in terms of like sharing that experience. It's not easy.
Right.
And I think it just takes a lot of research and asking the right questions and like relying on colleagues of mine, like, what do you do in this situation? And sort of just like I don't know, taking a leap of faith and like reevaluate your steps and go like, was this the right move? And then take the next step forward. You don't know. No one can predict the future, but you kind of like have your close circle of friends, men and women that I have that like I can sort of count on and talk to. So
that's insane.
I
did not have that.
No.
Didn't.
No. When I started my company, I was literally a year out of college. And it was not, obviously, it's a very different landscape technologically and with people. And Me Too happened a lot later.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I basically got told by everybody that I was crazy and that I wasn't going to, like, just go get a job. What are you doing? Basically, like, I mean, I was waitressing when I started my company. I was like begging people on LinkedIn to like hire me. I was like taking meetings. People were epically wasting my time.
Wow.
I'm not going to say what gender they were. I was wearing like fake wedding rings and that like wasn't helping. I mean, it was like a crazy landscape and I didn't have a support system because like everyone thought I was crazy. I mean, my partner at the time was really supportive, but also he was kind of like, it's cute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you're adorable.
You didn't have a group of friends that were like, this is amazing. Like, go get it.
Who the hell did I know? I just moved to the city a year and I was like my friends from college, they stayed in Philly. Like nobody, a lot of people that went to Penn State, like stayed local in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anyone here. And then I had like an acquaintance from school and I would only party with, it was a group of guys.
Yeah.
Right.
They weren't trying to like build me up.
Right.
Like they were in a music startup and
Right.
I helped them in their music startup doing concerts and stuff, which was actually very fun. And it's how I kind of leaned into events. But outside of like partying together and doing that startup, like we weren't talking about our emotions.
Yeah.
And like how I'm terrified and maybe I won't pay my rent.
Right. Right. And it's always like okay, like, is it a guy helping you or a girl helping you?
Yeah.
And I feel like now more and more, I think women are supporting each other.
Yeah.
And like, there's even like
so much better now.
a lot of these like female like founders and investments and companies that like really like support women.
Yeah.
And I think that it just feels like sometimes nice or safe. Like there's no ulterior motives like, you know, that people have. It's just really truly like understanding each other and coming from the right like place to support each other. So
and also not as like competition.
Well,
we're just,
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I feel like that's still there. But I will say like the way I feel like I was so early to the party because like I feel like I am so tough because of all of the shit that I had to go through in those early stages.
Right.
Like, do you feel like, you know, like people that are coming up right now, it's like, you're cute. You know what I mean? Like you didn't really have to deal with all the shit we had to put up with.
And I mean, I get that comment. I would get that comment all the time when like, why do you need to work so hard when you can just have a husband that takes care of you?
Yes.
Why stress your pretty little self out? I'm like, because I want to.
I had boyfriends that said that to me.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, just I'll take care.
Exactly.
Can I ask what your relationship status is now?
In a relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you found somebody who's comfortable with you being a boss. We love.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think that I don't think I could be in anything else, to be honest with you. I think I have a very strong personality, but that's because of everything else that's put me the environment that I'm in and, you know, how I view things. And sometimes like, I think over time, and this is the opposite effect, we're talking about like, you know, feminine power, but like you almost become too hardened.
Yeah. Oh my God. You lose the femininity a little bit by telling everyone what to do all day.
Yeah. And it's like, it kind of, you dissociate sometimes from emotions because you have to be so tough. Yeah. And especially in healthcare, like what you do, you have to put your emotions aside, right? Make the right decision.
You see
and it's hard.
Stuff. You have to give people bad news.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that makes it tough in addition to being an entrepreneur, being in a male-dominant field, all those things. So for me, it was actually working on bringing back some of that feminine, the softer side of me and realizing that I am both. I can be both. Yeah. And so that I think that kind of gets lost too.
Yeah. I have so many. Actually, I just had literally 3 questions pop in my head when you said that. Okay, but the first one is, did it affect your relationship when you're first starting? Obviously, you're like stressed out.
Right.
You're like, what the fuck? It's COVID. I just signed this lease. Like, did it impact your relationship where you felt like, I'm the boss at home too. I have to be like the boss here and I'm the boss all day. Like, do you ever feel like it bled into your home?
Yes. But again, I think that thankfully for what I naturally, maybe subconsciously or not, I don't think I end up in like very, very, I think it's a very progressive partnerships that I've been in where I'm not placed in those traditional roles.
Right.
I think granted, I think it still happens to all of us. There's always that stereotypical role. But I think for me, I don't know if I would vibe well with someone that would put me in that role anyway.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
No, we love a supportive partner.
Yeah, that's just a frank answer. Yeah, honest answer.
Well, do you ever feel like, because I mean, obviously I have thoughts on this, but do you ever feel like you're hot, right? Let's just call a spade a spade. For those who can't see, Dr. Jen is hot.
Yeah, she is.
Do you ever feel like being a hot woman who looks younger, like people have judged you negatively and it's like impacted people working with you? Pretty privilege is a thing, and there's good sides, but there's also a downside.
This is something I struggle with to answer because you don't know the other side of things.
Yeah.
So
never.
To say, yes, it's like also frustrating because looks, no matter what, people will judge you based on how you look first before they meet you. That's just how it is.
100%.
Right? They don't really know you. And especially because I create content, like the first thing they see is who I am on social media, which is very different from when you actually talk to me.
Yeah.
Every time they meet me or whoever meets me, guy or girl, it's like, whoa, like this isn't what I expected personality wise. You're like down to earth, you're chill. Like on social media, you look completely different and you act completely different. But
no, she's so chill, by the way. I partied with her before. She's a good time.
Yeah. But I feel like, you know, when then it comes to thinking about that, being pretty is a privilege, but at the same time, it has its downsides, but it has its upsides. Like, so to say that it doesn't help people would be unfair to say, because I wouldn't also know like what it would also be, you know, if, you know, without the circumstances of what I'm in.
Totally.
Not just looks wise, but like just overall, like, you know, genetically speaking, like health wise, like, you know, all these other things, right? Play into a factor. And I think that, like I try to stay aware. It's not like I hate like people judging me based on this, but I also have to be grateful in some ways. And it's like this middle ground that I operate in, that I try to stay in at least.
Well, like, do you ever feel like your social media? Because like I'm afraid of this as a business owner all the time. Like making my Instagram public was like the scariest thing ever the other day, honestly. And I'm always afraid, like, are my clients going to judge me if I do or say or look too good or whatever? Like, I'm so terrified of scaring clients. Like,
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to because this is again like when I first started and I didn't share that I was a optometrist.
Yeah.
And so all I did was post travels. And I was just so frustrated that all these men were hitting me up and like saying like who's your, you know, like
who's your sponsor? Who's paid?
Who's paying for you? You clearly don't work. And I was like, I'm going to start posting my stuff.
Yeah.
Because this is annoying. If I'm dealing with this, other women must be.
Yeah.
And I really don't care. I mean, I care to a certain extent.
But you don't.
Meet you.
Yeah. You're secure.
And then after doing that, I got a flood of like messages from women in healthcare that like, I love that you blend your healthcare stuff, your professional life with your personal. I've been so scared to do that because I'm afraid of being judged as, you know, a doctor.
Yeah.
And like you doing that has it's inspired me to do it.
Yeah.
And now, fast forward, I have my own practice. So I'm like, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
In fact, it brings in the type of patients and clients that like vibe with me.
Right.
Like, that's cool. The only reason like this, the only time now where I don't post things is this past weekend, I went to Art Basel and I had to wait 3 days because one of my employees, my associate optometrist, she was getting proposed to. And it was a surprise. I was in on it and it was on a Saturday. So I was like, well, I'm not going to post anything until you get proposed to so that she doesn't know that I was in on it.
Yeah.
And now that's the only reason why I'm like, I'm not going to post something, but it's just for me and it's not so much for what others think. I think you have to be careful though.
Yeah.
Still.
Of course. You can't like say too crazy things and like get too far out there.
Too far.
You're like my shining beacon, honestly, because like I've had so much anxiety about it where I'm like, oh my God, if I look too cute, are people not going to want to work with me? Or if I'm like being too fun or, you know, starting a podcast, are people going to think I can't focus?
I think we all experience that.
Yeah.
So I think underneath. Like, we're all subconscious, and I think it's really hard to remind ourselves to like listen to our own voice.
Yeah. No, I think you've done it. I think you've done like a really good job of like honestly balancing the two. I feel like I'm like low key such a like stan. I'm like, yeah, every time you do something where you're like, I'm in Forbes or this, I'm like, oh my God, she's so like inspirational.
Thank you.
So kind of on that same token of like imposter syndrome in a sense, do you find that you don't deal with that as much anymore?
Well, no, I do, of course.
Yeah, we're all out here struggling.
Look at me.
We're like reset. Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it.
Because I would have never thought, honestly.
No, I mean, I still think like, do I know the stuff? It's just different. Like the sequence of things that now I'm thinking about is different. Yes, I'm open a business. Yes, I graduated. I feel confident as a doctor.
Yeah.
But it's like the next thing, like, okay, I'm going to open another location. Can I actually do that? Can I really do the job? I don't know if I can.
Got it.
No, the way that your struggles change as you evolve, you're like, at first you're like, I just need to get some food on my plate. And then you're like a perfectionist. And then you're like, oh my God, how am I going to get to the next level? Like, from my perspective, it was like, I just want to be in these venues. Like, I want to be in these awesome venues like Plaza and all this. And I'm like, okay, now I want to be in Vogue. And like, then I'll see Mindy Weiss do something super cool. And I'm like, bitch, it's so creative. Like, you're always... No, I mean, no. Like, she's like Mother Teresa. But I mean, you know what I mean? She's had her time. Make room. Right. But the way that you're like leveling up, you're always trying to think of the next thing that you're going to do. It's like you kind of actually, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I feel like you kind of lose the excitement you had in the beginning because you're like, it's like riding first class all the time. You're like, when am I being in a PJ? You're not excited anymore. You know what I mean?
And after you ride a PJ, you're like, okay, what's next?
Yeah. You're like, it wasn't that great. It really, the snacks were mid. No, but seriously, like, do you ever feel like, when is enough enough?
I think you're saying never feeling satisfied.
Yeah, like, do you feel like you're going to hit a limit where you're like, no, I'll be done when I do that?
That's been a constant struggle that I'm aware of for myself. I think when you strive really hard, you always think about the next step forward. You think about the future. Yeah. Instead of being present in where you are today, and enjoying the journey. And I certainly am not, I'm talking the talk, but I'm like, okay, what am I doing next? So like, okay, tomorrow. So I
love that.
Yeah, that's just my personality.
Yeah.
So I have to remind myself, like, just enjoy the ride of where you are now. And the next step is the next step when you take that step.
Yeah.
When you get there.
Well, do you guys ever miss like working for somebody else and like being able to, like, because like for me, with the first time I really majorly fucked up, how I was like, oh wait, it's my fault. Oops. Like, I can't blame it on anyone but myself. Like, sometimes I miss, people can check out of work and just literally go home.
Yeah. I missed that part of it. I ran into a friend. She's a dentist today. She came in for an eye exam. We're just talking about it. And I was like, are you ready to like, open up your own? She's like, it's kind of nice, like going in, doing what I love, and then like, clocking out and just like going about my day and doing the other stuff that I enjoy. And and I do miss that sometimes, like the added weight and responsibility. Yeah. Like I have to do more facial treatments on myself at work. I'm just kidding. All that stuff, but like
that's the responsibility.
That's a responsibility.
No, I'm so jealous about that, by the way. Like when you did that she did like a salmon semen facial.
Yeah.
And
wait, I had just heard about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
Wait, that was you? Watch, it was.
But, yeah. So, that's odd. Yeah. We do this like salmon sperm facial, which is popular for the under eye and for the face.
No, but the way I'm coming in.
Yeah.
I think I DM'd you that day. I was like, is it where I'm coming?
No, I mean, it's really popular.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of that. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely can try it after. I forgot what the question was.
Oh, no. Wait, there was no question. Just like if you miss working for someone else and just clocking out.
I do sometimes, but I think then when I remember working for other people, I remember like I think things could be done better. And then I'm like, I probably couldn't stay in that position for too long anyways.
Yeah.
So it's a fine balance. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, God, what's it like to have clients that are only there for like 30 minutes and then you don't see them for a year?
They come back actually like, I see sometimes some of them like every month because they get the treatments, they get their dry eye.
Okay.
They love coming in. So sometimes we actually see our clients a lot more more frequently than an average, like I could think eye care practice does. Yeah.
You see your clients like kind
That's
of
fun.
sporadically too. Like if they commit to a Pilates session, they'll come in
to you.
every week, right? Or multiple times.
Well,
a week?
I mean, for group class wise, we have people that come back consistently. Like there's some people who come every single day of the week, but there's also some people in terms of like a private one-on-one, it's financially based anyway. So really it's up to, we would like those people to come in pretty regularly, but if that cadence happens or it doesn't happen, I mean, it just sort of is.
Right.
But let's work out.
Let's do it.
Do you have a group fitness class? We'll make a video. It'll be on YouTube. No, we really could. No, but I feel like the way that I have to relate to my clients is so weird because it's like we become besties for like a year, sometimes 2 years, and then it's like I never see you again. It's like so weird. I feel like I would like that cadence. That would be nice.
I do too. It's also like it's personal, and then but they're only there for an hour and then they leave. But it does get personal. There's a lot of like chatter. It's kind of like getting your hair done. You just gossip the whole time. Exactly. It is. We know all of the things.
Is there like anything that you guys would do? I mean, Teresa changed careers like right now.
Literally last year.
Yeah.
to Pilates.
Yeah. So I was working in corporate and then no longer in corporate. I decided to do something that I wouldn't cry every single day.
Oh gosh, yeah.
No more therapy.
Like, I mean, like having stuff to talk about in therapy was work at the time because I was just upset all the time. And then I was like, I can't even think about getting another job for the sake of paying bills. I needed to do something that actually was going to make me feel fulfilled and happier. And I've always worked out, and movement I think is so important, and it helped me. It's been amazing. And even like
the way she got me into Pilates. I used to be a gym girly only, and look at that ass.
I've only done Pilates for a year, like straight. I haven't been to a like gym at all. I look the best I've ever looked.
She still has an ass. I always thought like
over here.
Yeah. I really thought like Pilates girlies had those little pancake buddy, like the little butts.
Really?
No,
like a tiny peach. Like she's got a booty.
Someone even asked me one time, they were like, you have a Pilates butt. You do Pilates? And I was like, that was actually before I was an instructor too. I was like, thank you.
Oh my God, no.
I love Pilates. And I take, do you cycle?
I don't.
I cycle sometimes. But yeah.
I love cycling. I love a ride berries. I just started getting into those. They're a good time.
So hard.
No, the rides are different. The rides are good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, berries. If you want to advertise with us, just let me know. Like, what do you do to turn off? Because like for me, I struggle. I really struggle with boundaries. Like if I get a text right now from a client, I literally itch to respond, and I have to tell myself no.
Yeah. Too.
Yeah.
I'm not the right person to ask. But I can still answer this.
Yeah.
I think quality time with people allows me to, whether it's a phone call or meeting up for dinner, catching up with friends. I think that allows me to like just like switch gears and like focus on something else.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Or like a good read or a book. Something like that.
Yeah. We need to all do more reading as a society.
We do.
But secretly, I'm sure everyone's like scrolling through social media is what people do to turn off.
I mean, honestly, last night I was watching The Ultimatum on Netflix because I was dying of exhaustion. I'm like, I need something stupid to... And it's horrible this season too.
Is it?
Hot take.
That's not great.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Do you have any tips for anyone who wants to sort of step away and do their own thing?
Yeah, great question.
Like taking the step. And like becoming their own
boss.
Yeah, I mean, you got a partnership with Equinox Body.
Yeah.
Like, let's tell everybody. No, let's give away the secret sauce. No, but like, what would the advice be?
Well, the first part is to really be honest with yourself. Do you have the perseverance and the grit to do this? It's resilience. It's not easy.
Yeah. No.
Like I'm, even now, like having employees and stuff like that, I'm still carrying boxes to recycle and building bins and putting things together in my like heels sometimes. And like, I don't care. It has to be done. So someone has to do it. I'm like drilling things, like at office. I don't know how to do it, but I have to figure it out or else no one's going to do it.
Right.
So, exactly.
So do you have the grit? And I think it's different. If you know that you have the resilience and what it takes to do it, then I think everything else will follow because you'll find a way to make it work. And whatever industry you're in.
The things I was not prepared for, I feel, were like P&L and all the boring things and all of the like stupid, there's filings, you got to do quarterly taxes, you have to do W-9s for employees if they're independent contractors or W-2s, like all the things that nobody mentally prepared me to have to worry about. And if they fall through the cracks are a big deal.
Right.
It's like you're always going.
You're always thinking.
There's never a break.
Yeah, exactly.
And you also have to be mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
Right? You got to fire people if they're not working and you can't be anyone's friend. It's really fucking hard.
Yeah.
It's really fucking hard.
I will say it's like learning to be, I'm sure, like what a parent, like to be a mom or, you know, a dad. So like, I think that's what it's like. Cause like, it feels like you have children.
Yeah.
Literally like a few of them. And then like their personalities are all different.
Yeah.
And how do you learn to manage? It's not just running a business. It's how do you communicate? How do you inspire?
Yeah.
And how do you lead? And it's also how do you care for others as well? And then I think it's like, can you sacrifice? And you, look at while you're doing it. But it's like, are you okay with sacrificing your friends? You know, a part of your health and maybe a short time or like your sleep.
Yeah.
Are you willing to give those things up to chase something that could be something bigger than you?
Well,
100%.
Even with what you were saying, I think it's also important to note that being good at something and wanting to branch off and be your own boss or a boss is great, but being able to manage people if you are supposed to have a team, I think sometimes those don't always translate. Like someone can be an amazing instructor, but not know how to manage people.
For sure.
So I think, I mean, those are also just tough waters to get into.
Yeah, it
but
is.
also, like you said, it's literally like becoming a parent. Like you're kind of, the way that I fell through everything when I first did it, it was trial and error. And I would never have admitted that to clients at the time, but I literally was like figuring it out as I went. The way that you're allowed to fuck up though. And to this day, I have to remind people like, we are human beings. And even though I've been doing this forever, I will occasionally make a tiny mistake and you've got to have some leeway for me. Like my industry is not humanized at all.
Yeah.
There's no fucking room for error. If you literally don't ride 120%, the way people will come for you.
Well, it's like the most stressful. I mean, of course, joyous time of their lives.
Yeah,
so
it's
like
very
they're
joyous.
probably like, I'm gonna kill you.
They will literally take me outside and fuck me up. Like I'm so serious. I've only had a client be unhappy once, but they were the type of people that just were unhappy in general. You know what I mean? Like looking for error. That's not what you want.
No, not at all.
Like the people that
They're like
are
out to
mean
get
to
you.
servers.
Right.
You know? Like have you ever
Can
had...
you just decline them though? Be like,
Oh,
them,
well
just,
now...
I want to work with you.
I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know when you first start working with somebody. In my industry, you're not having 17-hour-long Zooms before you start working together. So sometimes it's figuring it out for a second. But the signs that I now know, I will not continue working with you if you're disrespectful to me and my team. And if you don't trust the process, like you have to trust the people that you go to for professionals. Like people trust that you know what you're doing with Pilates. People trust that you're going to advise them on their eye health and their skin, you know, like, I mean, look at your glowing skin. But like the way that my industry, for some reason, people don't easily have that trust because they're very nervous and it's highly emotional. So like you have to earn it for a second. But if I never get there and I can feel it, I'm cutting you.
But you also have to like play psychology, I'm sure.
I have a degree in psychology and it comes in handy, let me tell you. I've had to walk some people off a ledge over bangs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
what do you mean? I mean, I would not, I don't know how you do it.
I love it.
I would not be able to do that.
It has its days.
Yeah.
If I have a bad client, it sucks the life out of it for me. And that's why I won't do it anymore. I love all my clients. And that's when it's fun.
Right.
Like if you love your client, you love what you do. If you have someone in your chair that's literally like, the fuck do you know what you're talking about? You're like, oh, today's not going to be fun.
No, for sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like if you're going to start a business, sit with yourself and think about all the things you are going to give up because you do sacrifice your friendships sometimes.
I also, for myself, I had to redefine what success meant for me because I used to think it meant be a corporate girly and like make the money. It's much more about happiness for me at these times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's like having gone through that. If you didn't go through that, you wouldn't know that.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm so proud. I literally, by the way, I went to see her for an eye appointment because I had an infection in my eye.
I remember that.
And she had to help me because I couldn't wear mascara. I was like, I went to a horrible eye doctor and then I was like, what am I doing? I know Jen. I'm just going to go to Jen.
Yeah.
The way I also need glasses because I had LASIK 7 years ago, not from Jen, and it wore off. I didn't even know that could happen.
Yeah. Your vision can still worsen.
Yeah. Nobody told me that.
Yeah.
Can you get it again?
A percentage of people do, but it comes with like pros and cons.
Oh.
So,
Oh my gosh.
vision worsens because now we're finding screen time contributes to it. So,
Of course. Checks out.
yeah.
You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah.
Put your phones down.
Get off your screens.
What's like another eye tip that you want everyone to know that they don't know that you feel like you need to spread awareness?
Well, I mean, there's a few.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. List them out.
I think that the first thing is realizing that, yes, screen time does contribute to, like we talked about. I specialize in non-surgical vision correction. That's not LASIK. In short, it's called ortho-K. It's a way to prevent progression and also allows you to see the next day without wearing anything like glasses or contacts. Oh. And there are methods out there. So I think awareness is like, hey, like explore your options. There are better ones that are, again, preventative, right? Yeah. So that's the goal because, again, screen time is causing worsening. So in the next 15, 20 years, half of the world globally will now be nearsighted, which is like a scary number.
That's terrifying.
Do like blue light glasses have any play into this, or is that kind of just like a gimmick? Like, what is that?
Number one question. Well, okay. So blue light, I'm for it. Like, I would say, why? Blue light is, we're all exposed to visible light. When you're outside, there's the sunlight, right? And it has a spectrum of blue. And it's just so that when you are exposed to screens and digital devices, the wavelength that's emitted is the blue light. It's much shorter, so it's more intense. It causes more strain. It makes our eyes super sensitive. And so, especially if you work at a place with like, or in a corporate office, like fluorescent lighting, it's uncomfortable. So when you put blue light filter on your glasses, it's simply purely just a coating, as if you put on an anti-reflective coating. Okay. But what it's doing is it's helping screens feel more comfortable when you stare at it. It reduces the brightness and it reduces the light sensitivity that you experience in the glare. Okay. So because of those reasons, I would recommend it. We still don't quite know yet if studies are showing in the long run how damaging blue light is for our retinal tissue or macula. But there are certain signs of things that we are finding. And one of the things that is for sure is that it does change our circadian rhythm when we sleep, which leads to insomnia, which then leads to other things. So if you generally care about wellness and health, and it's just simply just a coating that goes on glasses anyways, and now they have it on contacts too, why would you not have it?
So it's almost like a tiny light SPF for the eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you can't go wrong with it.
And they make them for contacts. That's amazing.
Yeah, they do.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Oh my God, we're learning so much. All right. Well, wait, what are your other tips? Because you said you had a few.
I obviously specialize in dry eyes, but it's such a common thing that people don't even think about. 8 out of 10 people have dry eyes.
I have dry eyes.
Yeah.
I've been told
most people do.
You told me and 2 other doctors.
Yep. And I think one of the things what maybe followers can think about is most people don't realize what dry eyes looks or feels like. So one of it would be like, do your eyes water now that it's wintertime?
Yes.
Do your eyes water when it's cold or windy outside?
Yes.
Yeah. That's dryness.
Oh, shit. Yeah. We're all dying.
Do you feel like when you blink, do you blink a lot? Or when you blink, do you feel like your vision changes? Like it's blurry, then it's clear, and then it's blurry, and then it's clear. Yeah. Does your vision fluctuate? That's dryness.
You have dry eyes, babe.
Someone literally told me that I blink a lot. I had no idea. And then now I'm like super conscious about it. I'm like, or self-conscious about it. And I'm like just blinking away.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what should we use?
Well, over-the-counter eye drops are great.
Zysol. Love Refresh.
Zysol.
Isn't Zysol Isn't that eye drop?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Is that-
She's
but what is
not
that
into it.
for?
But that's,
Yeah.
no, refresh. You like refresh. Right?
Refresh is great. Sustain is a good one.
Okay.
True.
Okay.
Eye drops is another great one for lubrication.
Yeah.
We have like the next step though. So think of it like this, like drops are great. If your skin's dry, you put on lotion, but it is more temporary.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking to work on the sort of, again, regenerative process, it's to help your eyes produce the tears that it naturally needs, which over the course of years, screen time, contact lens wear, makeup, not enough sleep, all these things can cause our eyes to become dry. Hormonal changes, age.
Do you just drink more water?
Drinking water helps for sure.
It does? Okay.
Yeah.
Gatorade?
Gatorade. And just anything with hydration, I assume. Blinking more frequently on screens, taking breaks. And then if you're looking for like a longer term solution, and this is part of why I started Line of Sight, is we brought on a lot of new technology that doesn't rely on surgical ways, medicated ways to help restore and regenerate what you've lost, which is using devices like radiofrequency or IPL or even stem cell therapy to help heal the surface of the eye and help you release the oil that you need and reduce inflammation. So there's so many methods.
Use that stuff on your eyes?
Yeah.
I've only been using it on my skin.
Yeah, you can use it for both.
PRP on your eye? All right, we got a shot.
Yeah. So all this stuff is like amazing that, again, if only people knew about it more.
Yeah.
Well,
Especially
we're creating awareness now.
Right.
Like
Tell your friends.
Like you said at the beginning, like working in the hospital setting, feeling like it was just a Band-Aid. What you've done is obviously, it seems like the complete opposite.
Right.
Especially with it being like non-surgical as like the main point of
Exactly.
That's so cool.
And it's not like we don't want to rely on medication to just hide the problem. It's
Totally.
just going to come back.
Yeah.
Let's work on something that helps to restore what you've lost naturally.
I love that.
Love
So,
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I really appreciate you coming out, girl. You're killing it. You look fabulous. And we're rooting for that second location.
Yes.
I'll be seeing you
soon. Yeah.
I'll be seeing you for glasses and a semen facial.
I was like, wait, where did that come from? I forgot. We talked about that.
I want the salmon semen facial.
Salmon seaweed. Yes. Yes. We should definitely do it.
I want to do it.
And-
We'll do it on camera.
We do. You should bring your,
Yeah.
and we should do a what do you call it? ASMR?
Yes, we will do an
Sure, yeah.
ASMR. I'll be looking disgusting. Wait, so thank you again. What is your tag?
My page is Dr. Jen and Juice. So DRJEN ANG Juice.
Yeah.
Thought about changing it.
I
love it.
actually love your
Yeah,
handle.
I
Dr.
love
Jen and
it.
Juice. And is it at Line of Sight?
And my practice Line of Sight is Line of Sight Vision. And our website is lineofsight.co.
Love it.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was a great conversation. I love meeting a fellow boss babe.
Yeah.
Me too.
Right? Love
Those
it.
are awesome.
All right. So in the comments, we want to know if you guys would like to start a company, what would you like to do? And if you're afraid, just be open and honest and tell us. Like, we want everyone to hear how everybody else feels. Like, because I didn't have a community. I'm sure your community was much different than how it looks now. So let's build each other up in the comments. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe if you're not following, and told all your baddie friends at MissJudged Podcast. 2 S's.
5-star reviews only, always.
Always.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Bye.